We've got 13 prints here today for a police department in Indiana, 4 bigger ones and then 9 4x6-inch small ones. And this is probably gonna be the last order that I do inside this shop. I'll show you guys these pictures while I talk about it. So I moved into this shop a little over a year ago, back in November of 2023. It's now the beginning of 2025, and I think this is gonna be the last day that I'm working out of here. I'll be moving out tomorrow, Wednesday, and then hopefully, if everything goes to plan, my new shop will be ready next week, and I'll be ready to move into that and get back going. It's been really cool working out of this shop. I mean, this has been kind of my own little place. It's at my apartment where I live, so I rent the apartment and I rent this shop along with it, and it's been pretty awesome. There's nobody out here. It feels like my own place. I get to kind of do whatever I want with it, but it's time to move on to something a little bit different. The new shop that we're going into is going to be a little bit different than this, but it's a lot bigger. So it's twice the size. This place is 322 square foot. The next one is 648, I believe. So nearly double the size, but it doesn't look the same. So the next one is not so much of my own bay. This isn't a garage. This is a single bay garage, almost a little bit smaller than what a single bay would be. And the next one is in a shared space. So it's gonna have metal walls. I won't have these kind of cool black walls and stuff like that. I won't have as much access to, I won't have as much options to do what I want in there, I guess, but it's the next place I'm going to. It's kind of my next best option for now, and we're gonna roll with it. I'm not gonna say where it is until I've moved into there, but I will say I've not actually seen it myself. So I rented it sight unseen. Right now they're wiring it in, they're doing the electrical for it, and once that's done, I should be good to go. It's not near here, it's quite far away, and it's a lot different, but it seems pretty interesting of a place. It's a shared workspace, so basically a 250 or 450,000 square foot warehouse, and then it's my own small space within that, which is kind of interesting. There's gonna be a lot of people doing other types of businesses, not necessarily working, I don't believe, but like shipping and handling packages and stuff like that. What's interesting is I get to work around a lot of people finally. So I'll have a place that I actually go into for work, more or less, and I'll be around other people who are doing their own business stuff as well, which is kind of nice because I'm out here in the middle of nowhere and I don't really see many people at all, except for when I actually leave this house to go deliver packages and stuff like that. Aside from that, I'm not really around anything. So getting to kind of be around people who are working and doing business stuff should be pretty interesting. It should be a little bit nicer and more motivating, honestly, to actually work. So to give you a simple cost breakdown of this, I pay $500 a month for this shop. I paid $1,000 to have the mini split installed for heating and AC, and then I pay for the electric, which is usually $100 to $200 a month depending on the weather. So it's been pretty cold out lately, so my bill last month for electric was $180. This new place I'm moving into is $518 a month for double the space, and I just pay Wi-Fi, which is $50 a month. And so it's basically the same price, a little bit cheaper, which is nice, but it's not as nice of a place most likely. Now again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but just not having your own personal space like this, I would imagine is not going to be as nice. Every other shop that I looked at in the area was basically $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and you had to sign a 2 to 5 year lease most of the time. I couldn't really find anything under that. I didn't want to do that. So I found this place. It's called CubeWorks, and basically it's month to month. So if I don't like it at any point, I can just leave and move on and find a different shop. If I end up hating it and I have to move on to an actual expensive shop that is $2,000 to $3,000 a month, that's fine. I did plan for that, and then I was fortunate to find a place like this that was, 5 times cheaper. So I'm giving this a try and seeing how it goes. It can't be that bad though, so I will definitely be staying there for at least a couple of months. Now I was supposed to be going down tonight. I was supposed to leave tonight and be there for the morning, but FedEx keeps holding some of my boxes at customs right now, and it's been held there for the past week. So I can't leave without it because it's got all of these frames. And so I'm just waiting till those arrive. once they get here, I'll be good to go and then I can leave. I'm probably just gonna pack my truck up as soon as it gets here and just start driving down. This shop will be packed up by tomorrow, so everything else will be ready to go. I say this is my last order in here because I'm waiting for more frames to do my final orders. I have 3 or 4 that need to get done that have been waiting for the past week, but I just can't do them because I don't have any material to finish them. And so I'll likely just do those when I get down there. And those customers, I've already told them that they're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. I didn't think it would be this long, but it kind of is what it is. I have shut my website down though, so I can't take any more orders at the moment. But once I get back down there and I have all the material back in stock, I can start taking orders again and get things flowing. I will say, I forgot how expensive it is to move shops. So when I moved in here, it was a couple $1,000 to get into this one, and I kind of forgot that because you see like a cheap rental price and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you realize it's still thousands and thousands of dollars to move shops. So it's not very efficient just to like pack up and move somewhere and then decide to do it again later on too soon. It's worth it to stay somewhere at least a year and get your money out of it because there's a lot that goes into it that you don't expect. I mean, electrical itself gets expensive and making sure everything's all set, and costs to set up new stuff, buy equipment, whatever you gotta do. Everything just adds up to be quite a bit in the end that you didn't anticipate, and it's thousands and thousands of dollars more than you would think. And anyone who's done it knows that. Just for anyone who's planning on moving into a shop for their business, whatever you do, if you've never done it, anticipate that it's gonna be 3 to 4 times more than you think. And when I say 3 to 4 times, like if it's gonna be $2,000 to get into it for some reason, it may end up being 6 or 8. So to give a little bit more of a cost breakdown on this new shop, the cost of getting into it. So I can't run this heat press inside of that shop without 240 volt power. So basically when I move into this one, it's $500 to wire in 120 volt power. And then I asked them, I said, I need 240 volt to be able to run this heat press. What would that cost? They quoted me $2,500 to run one plug of 240 volt, which I know the cost of materials to do that. It's not even remotely close to that. So I don't know where that number comes from. That's pretty expensive, but it is what it is. It'd be worth it if I was gonna take that, but they quoted me it and then didn't want to do it. And so I found a power station by Anker, it's not like a promotion or anything, that I bought, and it can run this heat press off it. So I tested the power on this week. It draws about 4,800 watts at 20 amps, and so that power station can hold it. But to give you an idea, that thing was $4,000. So you're $4,000 plus $500 for electric, plus $500 for first rent, plus $500 for deposit, plus moving fees and any other material and stuff you have to buy for the shop. So when you're moving into a shop, this one's gonna be over $6,000 just to get into. So you have to kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about just up and changing places. Now, things like a deposit, you get back at the end, sure. Also, that power station, I can take that with me to the next shop or I can just sell it when I'm done. So it was more expensive up front, but I can always sell it after. So it's not as big of a deal. $2,500 is just gone. That's like the rent. You'll never get that back no matter what. At least I can take this with me and run this machine off of it. I can run this machine for I think an hour and a half off of it before it needs a recharge, which is all I need. I normally don't run this for more than 45 minutes or an hour at max anyways, even on a busy day. So it works out kind of perfect. Definitely not the most ideal situation. I would have much rather had actual power run into the shop, but it kind of just wasn't an option. So we're making the best of it and doing what we can to keep going. I wasn't gonna use the no power thing as an excuse to stop. Everything at the moment is pretty like up in the air. I've never been this really uncertain about things, but again, I've never seen this shop. I don't know how good it is, how bad it is. And I also have no idea whether that power station is going to work with that heat press. So taking all of the measurements and everything, trying to figure everything out, it says it will work. It should, and I asked an electrician to help me out with that to understand it, and he says it should, but you never really know. So it could show up and be no good, and I have to return it, and then if that doesn't work, I don't really know how I'll run the heat press. I'll probably have to pivot in some way and start making different types of signs, or pivot the business a little bit to figure things out. If I can't run the big heat press, I'll have to make smaller prints and probably do signs like this, street signs and whatnot, which I'm not against. I'll do kind of whatever it takes to just make this work and keep it going. I really want to move into this place, kind of a cool opportunity, a little bit of a change. And so we're gonna see what we can do. I'm also gonna have to figure out like lighting and stuff like that and how I'm gonna set everything up. We don't have big warehouses up here in New England like this place does. I mean, we have them, but not nearly as many as where I'm headed. And so I've never really seen or been in a place like this. So I don't know what it's got for lighting. I don't know how good it is. I don't know what the whole work environment is gonna be like inside of that. I just don't, sort of going at this blind. I have ideas. I mean, I know what stuff is like and how things go for the most part, but you really don't know until you get there. I think what's exciting about this, more or less, is that no matter what happens, I'm willing to make it work and keep trying instead of like kind of just staying comfortable here. There's nothing to worry about here. You know, you're taking the next step. You're going out and trying to do something a little bit new and different. You don't know if it's going to work, but you know that no matter what, you will figure it out. Now, why am I doing any of this? For the past few years, probably since I was 16, I've been wanting to actually move away, and I haven't done it for various reasons. Things kept popping up. And then when I started PrintShed, it was kind of, the idea of doing that was a little bit difficult at the time because I wasn't going enough to where I could just move away and take on the costs of living somewhere different and renting a shop and an apartment and all that. But last year, I decided that all I wanted to do this year in 2025 was work. I wanted to really focus on that this year and kind of spend no time doing much else. I actually really like working. It's the thing that makes me like the happiest or whatever. I just like to do that the most. When I do that, everything else in my life seems pretty good if I'm working a lot. And so my goal for this year was just to work as much as possible, and I figured the best way to do that would probably be to go put myself in a new environment, a new city, kind of get away from some of my friends for a little while because it's very distracting living at home. I think anyone who does live in their hometown knows that it's hard to get stuff done sometimes. You know, you don't really get the option of working on weekends when all your friends want to do stuff. You do, but it's hard to say no. There's just things that it just gets distracting, more or less. And so this opportunity popped up for me to go down here. I do have some friends down here where I'm going, down there. And so it's not like I'm gonna be completely alone. It's just not like my core group of best friends and stuff. But that is what it is. I've wanted to do this forever, and I figured there's probably no better time to do it than now because as I get older, there's less of a chance that I would actually pack up my whole life and just go somewhere different. And if I had employees and stuff like that, or a bigger shop, more expensive shop, I wouldn't be able to just up and leave. It wouldn't really be possible. And so this next place is for 9 months to start. And so if I don't like it in the first 9 months, then it's over and I can go either back here if that's what I want to do, or I can decide to go somewhere else. So I could go to any different city that I wanted to at that time. I am hoping though that I like it a lot and just kind of decide to get settled in there. That would be ideal because then, you know, as I get settled into a place, then I can kind of focus on growing the business even more. But that's my only focus this year is just working and growing the business. And so I'm doing things that I think put the ball in my court a little bit. Could be a terrible idea, could just be a waste of money. But as far as I see it, freeing up some of your like time for the weekends, being able to just work all weekend, Saturday and Sunday, work all day, not be distracted by other things, not spending time doing anything else but working, I think you get ahead rather quickly. And I don't think you need to do that forever, but for a couple of months, that won't hurt. And I think that's a smart decision in your 20s to do. I wish I had done it already once more, you know, previously, but now we're here and I'm gonna do it again. I did it at one point a couple years ago when I started PrintShed. I worked like crazy to get it going, and that was a good decision. So we're gonna do it again. All right, these are all done now and they're ready for the heat press. That's 13 of them prepped. Now I just gotta put them in, cook the rest of them, and then put some frames on them. The nice part about these little ones is I don't have to build actual frames for them. I just put the little hangers on the back and they're good to go. I just gotta build 4 hangers for the 4 big ones. Something I was hoping to do before I left was use up a lot of this material so that I didn't actually have to take it down and fit it all in my truck, because I don't know how much of this stuff in the shop I can actually fit. So I'm gonna take the most important stuff and then from there probably just buy new material and whatever else I need when I get there. I was gonna rent a trailer, but it was like $700 to tow a U-Haul trailer down. And then I was gonna buy a trailer maybe, and then just sell it when I got there, but that's not really worth it either. So I'm just gonna take whatever I can fit into the bed of my truck and in the cab of it and call that good. So heat press, printer, boxes, desk, chairs, computers, stuff like that. And then everything else I'll just probably buy new, which I guess is not too big of a deal. It'd be nice if all the boxes, like the shipping boxes, could fit, because those are probably some of the most expensive things to buy. Lay this paper out here. For everyone that's asking, that always asks, this is glassine paper from Uline. So this is what I use to cover up everything. When I ship it, I just wrap it in this. These are some of the finished ones. I'll show you the small ones after. But we got a cop car here. Don't know what gun that is, but pistol. And we've got this one. And we have one right here. This one, pretty similar. This came out really nice. Professional photo, so they're going to come out good either way. And then I'll show you these small ones here. There's 9 of them. These are them. They were a little bit tough to work with because they were some of the photos were so dark, you know, on their uniforms. You can, like, as of right here, really pretty dark. So I had to brighten them up as much as possible, but they came out good. And this is what the backside looks like. So it's just got that sawtooth hanger on the back, and that's how they go on the wall. That's all 13 prints done. Gonna pack them up, send them out. Hopefully next time I see you, new shop.